Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Wrench Heads. So today is the key install that everybody has been waiting for, including some acquaintances of mine who I work with have been driving me nuts about this. But as I mentioned in a previous update on one of our other videos, a lot of parts got delayed in shipment with holidays around, the presidential blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna get into it. But the turbo's in, the oil return line is in, everything that I need is in. Alright? So now what I'm gonna be doing today is I'm gonna be starting the install on the new turbo, and I'm gonna start by dismantling the top portion, clearing everything off I need from the top area, and then I'll be going underneath the car to disconnect the exhaust portion. Now keep in mind, at the time of this recording, it is a brisk 23 degrees in the Pocono Mountains. I do not have any heat in my garage. I'm not quite sure if you can see the air that's coming out of my breath every few moments. But I will do my absolute best to make sure that you guys get to see as much as possible, okay? So as of right now, I have my car up on the wheel ramps. I got the LEDs on to improve your witnessing situation and, you know, maybe create some additional ambient heat up in this thing. All right, so without further ado, let's get going. So I already have off the air box, I took out the catch can, and now I've disconnected the diverter valve and most of my upper components. So now I'm going to be disconnecting the vacuum line to the diverter valve. If I can find what I did with my pliers. What I do with my pliers. There you go. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is gonna take off this this clamp for the charge pipe going down to the pancake, and then I'm also going to let's see, do I need to take that off? Actually, I don't believe I need to take that off because that's gonna stay in position. What I will do, however, is I'm gonna have to reach around back here. And there's another, feels like flathead. Yeah, flathead connector. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off this top one, not worry about that one until I get the turbo out. you see that open pipe right there? Right there. That is the downpipe for the turbo intake side. And right behind it, see that bolt directly below it? That is the bolt for your heat shield. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get that down right now until I get that intake pipe off. So this might be the point in which I have to either drain the coolant so I can take off the coolant pipe that's running directly behind it and give me some clearance, or go underneath to see if I can find a way to that. I'm not quite sure. I know some models that's built on, other models you can actually take it off. I'm hoping this is the model where I can take it off. Okay, so I got the bolt out. It doesn't take a whole lot of pressure. You just make sure you're set all the way in. Some light pressure and you're good. Now I got a screwdriver and I'm just flexing this off. Ow. There it goes. There you go. Just give it a nice good pry. Jostles out. Suppose it entered, and now we go back up top and wiggle her on out. All right. Reach on in. Ta-da! Here you go. And if you guys saw if anybody who's watching saw the secondary air delete kit install, this is the plug that you have to put in. They give you the option to go under the car and install a plug in this, a plastic plug directly, or you can just cut the hose and do what I did, install a screwdriver and then hose clamp it down. So now you know where it goes to, but you can see how restrictive that stock pipe is. So imagine a newer one that doesn't have that restriction. And before I forget, the bolts for the plastic heat shield over the axle that gave me the clearance to get to the downpipe restraint bolt, those are 16 millimeter. So now that the heat shield bolt that's behind that I told you about, that is going to be a 13 millimeter bolt. So I got the GoPro in my hand, so give me a minute. Fudgesicles. Come on, man. A little bit of light, illumination, appreciation. Shouldn't be too much. Nope. There you go. And then once you crack it, 1 or 2 turns, and then you can start pulling off by hand. There is a washer on the back of this nut as well. All right, so we have 1, 2, and 3 more bolts to take off. This is for the charge pipe going down to the intercooler, and then also right below it, if you can see the black rubber hose that leads into the pancake right there. We're gonna loosen that up. Then this whole upper portion will come out, and it should allow us to remove the heat shield and have access to the top 3 manifold bolts. All right, so I have successfully disconnected the turbocharged pipe. So the second bolt that was holding in the heat shield was located right where the bracket was. So right about here was located right where the bracket was. You see that little piece right there, that little nipple? That's where it bolts into. So now, as you can tell, I've got clear access to the top 3 turbo exit bolts for the hot side. All right, so you've got, so like I said before, you have one heat shield mount over here and then another one right back here. All right, so once you take off those 4 10mm bracket bolts, top and bottom, you'll be able to push the hose, the charge hose, out of the way, and then take out that second 13mm bolt and then pull out your heat shield. So after a quick battery change and charge change and Amazon delivery pickup, we are back. So what you're looking at right now is I've already drained the oil because I've taken apart everything up top that I possibly can. I've disconnected the charge pipe. I've taken apart every clamp and whatnot that I can. So the only thing that I can do now is to start disconnecting the oil return line and the banjo clamp up top for the coolant. So I've already drained the coolant from the radiator, and I've also dumped the lower pipe. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to tighten up the oil bolt. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off these 2 lower oil return line mounts, and they look like they should be 10 mil. Personal thing, yep, that I cannot stand. If you are going to change the hardware on somebody's vehicle, you let them know and say, hey, you have some hardware issues. If you want us to change it, we will. If you want us to change it, we'll do it just to get the job done. If you don't and you want to keep it stock hardware, we're gonna have to order you some stuff. And let it be up to the person who's paying for the work. Alright, so I need a D15. Don't just go changing shit because you want to. Alright, yeah. Fuck. Alright, so we're in. Oh, and she's cracked. Alright. Where my wrench go? Where my wrench go? She fell down, go boom. And now I can't find her. She hopped in. Oh, she's in the pan. Alright. Alright. Whew. Alright. She's leaking. She leaking. Alright. Maybe see if I can. Nope. Alright. Get this realigned. Alright. Alright. So. You hear that? I'm gonna try and let it out controlled so it doesn't piss all over me. Cause you know, I am wearing a work shirt, but I don't want it to go crazy whatnot. So I'm gonna let that run for a minute and then we'll be right back. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now that the banjo bolt has been released, all the coolant has dripped out that is supplied to the turbo. So now what we're gonna do is collect the hardware. There is a washer that goes on there. There's two washers actually, one to the front and one to the back of the banjo bolt. One of them I know for a fact is inside of the pan that fell, and the other one I'm not so sure about. I'm hoping it's stuck. Yep, it's stuck to the bolt. So you're gonna have a front and rear washer to the banjo bolt, and now from what I can tell, everything down here is loose, good to go, disconnected. So now I need to go up top and remove the exhaust mount bolts. 1, 2, and then another one back here, a third bolt that holds the turbo up to the flange. There is one other bolt that I have to take off. It's hidden on the other side. That is the oil supply line. That is another banjo bolt. So I'm going to get some towels. I'm going to tuck them underneath that corner and I'm going to release that. I'm going to see if I can get you guys a good shot of it. I would assume it is the same H6. But we know what they say about assuming. So what I found was that the oil supply line for the banjo literally sits directly underneath the exhaust manifold housing. So I'm gonna have to loosen up the bolts from the housing to the turbo. Once the turbo drops down enough, I will then be able to get the top banjo bolt for the housing, get the H or whatever size nut is there off, and then completely separated from the oil supply line. So the only thing that appears to be holding the turbocharger in place is that 10mm bolt right there, which is the from the support bracket, the turbocharger support bracket. So I tried to cheat it a little bit and get the turbo out without taking out the exhaust manifold, but doesn't seem like that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna take out the exhaust manifold, and that's gonna be where I stop for tonight, because you know I gotta be a dad and put the kiddos to bed. And by the time I do that, I'm not coming back down in this cold weather. So I'm gonna get that done ASAP Rocky, and then the next time you see me, I will be going to get or have come back from getting fresh oil, some additional coolant, and a new exhaust manifold gasquito.